Okay, ladies, today we are coming to you from down in our new studio that's finally halfway put together. I wanted to tell you about some new markers that we found. They're Copic markers, and they're very good for your stamped images on your scrapbook pages and things like that. The reason they're good is, one, is that they're very blendable, and two, is because they come in different size tips, so you can change your tip to whatever your preference is, and that way it makes it coloring your images easier. So there's 4 different types of markers that come with the Copic line. One is the original Copic. It's kind of a square marker. One of the reasons for that is so that it doesn't roll off the table, but the other reason is it just makes it a little bit easier to hold. A lot of the artists from Japan use these for coloring their pictures. But the part that I like the best about the Copic is that this tip here is very, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a very fine point, and that makes it easier for outlining and things like that. The 2 middle ones is the Sketch and then the Chloe 2. This one is, they both have the exact same brushes. One's more like a paintbrush tip. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, maybe if I do this. One's more like a paintbrush tip, so it's very flowy when you brush with it. And then the other one is a chisel tip, so you can get a little bit better on those corners and things. So the last one I wanted to show is the wide mouth one. It's exactly what it says. It's a very wide mouth, and so it's great for coloring posters and things like that. I haven't seen any use for my stamps, but then most of my stamped images are smaller, and this is just too wide for that. But what I wanted to show you was the blending that they can do. I'm going to set that aside. I pulled out one of my stamps. This one here is of a daisy. And we're going to take just a regular ink pad, and I'm going to stamp that for you. So stamp it up here in the corner, about right there, like that. Okay. And what I wanted you to see is that the way it blends. So what you do is you take your marker, your Copic, and then you color with the light one first. So you color the whole image first. And then you go back with a darker color, and you kind of fill in your shadow. But the strange thing is then you go back over it again with the light marker, and it blends the two together, which is really kind of cool. I think my ink was still just a little wet, so it kind of smeared it a bit. I do have another page I can show you which works a little bit better. This one just has some circles all over it. It's basically just for this purpose of learning to blend and color and that kind of thing. We're going to use the same 2 colors again. We're going to take it here, and so you're going to color this inside basically all the same. And one reason you want to color it pretty fast and not quite to the edges is because it does bleed just a little bit, so it'll fill in that space. But then you want to take your Copic, your darker shade, and kind of fill that in. And then to blend them, go back over it with the lighter shade. So what happens is you're also darkening here by putting more ink in there, but then you rub this one gently, and it kind of blends the 2 colors together like that. If that makes any sense at all. But the other really neat thing that Copic has that I haven't seen with any other markers is they have this blender. The blender adds, it gives you the opportunity to go back and add details that you couldn't normally add. So where I think it's too dark here, I can take that blender and I can kind of wipe away the color. So after a few minutes, when it dries, you're not going to see the color anymore. You're going to see the mark that pulled out the color. Kind of like this one here. It's kind of polka dotted. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can zoom you in there. This is kind of new to me, so we will see. This one right here is the one I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see those or not. I can't see it on my end, but maybe you can see it on yours. So that's what that'll do in this picture here. Right there. I don't know if you can see, but as you take this blender and you go back over here, you see it lightens it up and kind of erases the color from the picture. Well, anyway, that is Copics and blending techniques. You learn a whole lot more, obviously, in the class. So I hope you enjoyed the short little 2-minute video, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.